welcome to part 2 of me explaining my OCs. If you haven't seen the first video, link is in the description. In this part, I will be talking about the Blood War OCs. You may recognise them from the Just a Man short or the Tough to be a God video, or if you're new, you might not recognise them at all. These characters are from Of the Blood War, which is the book that I'm writing. I'm at the editing stage of the first book, so exciting. The story follows a handful of witches in a world that is falling apart around them, and the pressure is on them to fix it, but they're just kids. Their own wants and desires get in the way, friendships are threatened, love is tested, tears are shed. It's a fun ride. In this world, magic comes from gemstones that were crafted by the ancient gods and gifted to the world. But over the years, only some of the humans were able to draw magic from the stones, known as witches. To keep order amongst the witches, rules were created. They could only draw from one stone that belonged to an ancestor of theirs. Stones must be kept within each family to keep the order. No sharing. Different types of magic were once viewed equally, as they were seen as parts of the gods in the world, and magic was beautiful. But over the years, magic developed as more of a weapon, and the more damaging magic, blood magic, was revered amongst the rest as they were seen as stronger witches. So blood witches are trained at this place called the Blood Palace, which is very regal sounding. They are a military and they can be sent out, you got a problem, you hire a blood witch, But another war on witches meant they needed to expand the amount of different types of magic in their armies, because too many of them are dying, there's not enough blood witches going around, so they gotta pick and choose from elsewhere. Well, not choose really, pick. No? Never mind. And that's where the story's focus is. Merakaiton is the name of the school for all the other witches, where in the final year they learn how to connect to their stones and use magic. My characters, Aletta, Lucian, Valerie and Raphael, are 17 and in their final year, but blood witches merge with their school and they are forced to train for military purposes. None of them wanted this. They are now being forced to serve for as long as the ongoing war lasts. Basically, they're now weapons, machinery, and they don't have lives. They all have something to lose, having families and lives that they need to get back to. Dreams, hopes and dreams, wants. You know how it is. Training and being separated due to their magic types creates a rift between the four of them, being changed by this new opportunity. They learn things about each other that may have stayed hidden if their situation hadn't changed. And new people come into their lives. Originally, the four of them had stuck together throughout, but now new people have come into their lives and changed them, and they impact the others. One of the points of the story revolves around how friendships can evolve and change, and how you can think some people will be in your life forever, but some people can drift away. But that's sometimes how life goes, and you don't realise just how important something is until you lose it. It's sort of about growing up and all that, the fun stuff that entails, and just how these four children have been through it and how they develop as characters. Now, amongst the blood witches that have come to Merakaiton is Astrid. She is a blood witch who has been hidden by her parents her whole life, so she didn't go to the Blood Palace, which is where the military is trained. She was homeschooled. Her family's heritage to blood witch gemstones is frowned upon. It's a bit hush-hush, really. Like, people from Dunhar, which is where she's from, they're separated from the rest of the world, basically, not having discovered magic till recently, so it's questionable. Her family only recently discovered, her family only in the last 100 years discovered their magic abilities, being able to draw from gemstones. So they studied blood magic, drawing from the blood gemstones, knowing that the strength it held and how useful it could be to them. Like, they could protect their family, they could protect their country. It just generally, yeah, be good for them. But Astrid's parents want to build their credibility and the respect that they get, and Astrid feels that it rests on her shoulders a bit. So when she arrives at Merikaiton, she is dead set on keeping her head down, becoming the perfect soldier to make her parents proud. But when she meets Aletta, this dastardly girl, she begins to question what she wants, because Aletta is very persistent in appearing in her life, and Aletta's just curious about her at first. Astrid is overwhelmed because the amount of human contact she has had in her life is minimal. She will eventually lose Aletta and any of the humanity and joy she brought to her. But if she chooses Aletta, then she feels she will let down her parents and throw away all they had sacrificed for her and for them. But as much as she tries to follow in her parents' footsteps, she can't keep Aletta out of her head, and that sucks, really. It's very, like, brief hand-touching, slow burn. I don't know if anyone else likes slow burn. I love slow burn. Enemies to lovers as well. This is basically, my book is just my favourite tropes, really, so. Also amongst the Blood Witches is Emrys. You might recognise him from these images. This boy, I love him. I know I shouldn't. He originally starts out in the story as an antagonist. He doesn't do much other than try to cause trouble for the rest of them, and he's very privileged and annoying. But as the story progresses, he tries to be a big bad villain. He just feels like that's his role, and that's what he should be. But he can't handle the guilt that haunts him after he commits these heinous acts. He, unaliving people. So he tries to keep going with it, falling only deeper into grief and the guilt of his actions. But he can't let it show, otherwise that's not very villainous of him. He has the idea that he will keep unaliving people until he drives the humanity out of him, and it just gets worse. Now we also have Agana and Sanen when they were younger. They're in a prequel story, if you will, that takes place over 30 years before the events of the Blood War story. They are the characters in the My Goodbye video, Done For. Basically, whenever you see a sword lady, it's Agana, and therefore Sanen will be there too. But in the Blood War story, they are Astrid's parents. Remember that Blood Witch from earlier who has parental issues? Yep, that's them. So obviously after My Goodbye, the video, they work things out, if you get what I'm saying. But the prequel follows when they are around 21. They join the war in Dunhar. Agana is the only Blood Witch in the open of that age. Her gemstone is attached to the end of her sword that you may have seen. Kind of. That's her stone. After learning Sanen can also draw from the stone, in a chance, Agana gives him her sword. She can fight without it, she's strong. But after a betrayal, she takes it back and leaves him on his own, which is the ending of the My Goodbye animatic. That's what's happening there. Agana was a lot like Astrid when she was younger, as she was raised strictly by her parents to be a ruthless blood witch. No emotions, all that. And whenever she failed, they would remind her that she was a disgrace and not good enough. But when she's older and has Astrid, she doesn't realise she's putting her through what she had to go through when she was younger. She finds that she's turning into her parents, and she doesn't really realise she's a bit absent, really, as well. But she's briefly in my unfinished surface pressure animatic. That little face, that little wireframe, that little sketch blob is her. One of them anyway. I really want to finish that one so it makes more sense, because it's about Astrid, and I love Astrid. And that is it. I hope you all enjoyed these videos and that they were helpful. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you at my next animatic on this channel. It's currently, I'm still working on it at the moment, but hopefully I can get it out soon. I'm enjoying doing it. I hope it, I hope people will enjoy seeing it. So, yeah. Bye!